Hello, everyone. Welcome to everyone who's joining now, and welcome to everyone who's watching the recording. This is the masterclass. This is the free masterclass, which we've been talking about for some time now. So today we're going to learn how to get freedom from emotional eating in 2024. It's mostly from emotional eating. My name is Anna Strzeżek, and I'm a psychonutritionist, emotional eating coach, and the founder of the program Feed Your Body, Not Your Mind. So welcome to everyone who is joining live, and we'll be still giving a few more moments to everyone else to join. But in the meantime, Chantal, I can see you here. Hello, and Amber as well. Great to have you here. Please don't be shy. Put the cameras on. There will be a big number of us here joining and then watching the recording. So I am really excited to hear from you, and also to hear some shares from some of the people who will be coming on the call later on. So yes, welcome, Michael. Now you can hear me. So it's great to have you here. So what we will be doing today is I will be telling you about the main three reasons why we eat emotionally or why we binge eat. And at the end of the masterclass, I want to give you three tools, three tips, which will help you make incredible changes in your relationship with eating going forward. You might start tonight, you might start in the next few days. So the reality is that New Year can start today. No one said that 2024 can start on Monday. So I would love to ask you, Amber. Thank you very much for making a comment here. I will be reading the comments for everyone who is watching the recording. So please just, if you have any questions or if you want to join in the meantime the conversation, please just open up the chat and you can say hello. You can ask questions, and I will be keeping up to speed with the chat, I promise. So Amber is just saying that she's at work and unable to put the camera on. So yes, so yeah, I'm happy that you are here as well, Amber. So yes, great to have you here. So I just wanted to ask you why you are here, and I can see Leslie. Hi, Leslie. Thank you for joining. I just wanted to ask you why you are here. If you can just tell me, I know that Amber cannot talk too much, but Chantal, would you be able to tell me why you are here?
Yeah, sure. Um, so,
Welcome, and thank you for joining.
no problem. So I think, yeah, for me, I think it's been gut health. I think I just haven't been able to get it right in terms of my diet and what I should be eating and when I should be eating it and how it makes me feel. I've just been experiencing like a lot of bloating. I've cut out sugar since May of this year, which
Mhm.
is really great. But I feel like that hasn't been the key because I'm still having issues. I'm just trying to figure out like yeah, what the best thing is to do for my diet and also to help me, lose weight and like be the best version of myself, really. That's the main thing.
Fantastic. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing. And you know what? When it comes to the challenges which you are experiencing, it's really it's really incredible what can happen when you start working on the relationship between food and yourself. And I'm very grateful that you are on this masterclass, because we will be talking a little bit about this. But what I can say from the clients who I have been working with so far, they were experiencing similar symptoms like you, and they've made changes in their diet. However, they still couldn't figure out why they feel the way they feel. And then they realize that when we got to the bottom of the emotions and the bottom of the narratives which they had, then they started nourishing their bodies properly. Because the reality is that we keep saying that we are what we eat, but the truth is that we are what our body can absorb. Because
Mm.
we can eat the healthiest foods ever, but if we are in a lot of fight or flight a state of our nervous system, then our body is not able to absorb what we are eating. So it's really, really, really great that you are here because you will be able to learn a little bit. And I will be talking about connection between different narratives and different beliefs, and also what I mix in my work is somatics, which is the connection between emotions and how our body reacts. So I keep saying that the weight which we are wearing on our bodies is not always the actual fat tissue. It's also the weight of expectations. Is the
Mm,
weight of the emotions which we have inside. Is the weight of what is unknown inside of us. That's why having this holistic approach is so incredible. So yeah, I'm very happy to have you here and
thank
enjoy.
you.
Great to have you here. Thank you, Chantal. Okay, in the meantime, we had also some other lovely people joining. So hello, Leslie. I can see that. I think you are driving, so I won't be asking you any questions. Please drive safe, and then when you get to the destination, I would love to hear from you as well if there is anything which you are expecting. Amber is saying binge eating has been a struggle, and I want to learn how to eat intuitively. Yes, definitely. This is amazing that you are saying this. What I want to say regarding that comment as well. I've heard that a lot of times to listen to our intuition because our body knows best what we want to eat, and I do agree with that. However, especially if there is a history of binge eating for more than a year, 2, or might be 20 years, then it's really hard to actually hear the intuition. It's really hard to hear what our body is saying, because for years and years we've just tried to cover it and push down so many emotions and so many voices of
Excuse me,
our
why does
body
Maria have like 5 last names?
that it's really hard to. Sorry, I will just.
Just a little weird. I was just
Okay.
asking.
Sorry, what did you ask?
Like, why does Maria have like 5 last names?
No, that's just let's just leave it for my hi Maria. It's great
Because
having you
it's
here.
royalty descent.
No, I'm royalty. So
Okay, thank you for the comments. However, yes, let's regarding the names, let's just
no, I'm
keep
I'm
whatever
royalty.
names we want to do. Okay, so when it comes to intuition, is Amber, as you said, it takes time to actually discover what our body really wants, but it's definitely something what comes with the process. So most of everyone who would be joining, not watching the recording, I believe that you are already here. So I will start with a little bit of an introduction of who I am. So I said that I'm a psychonutritionist and emotional eating coach, and my story with eating and binge eating was actually the story which was almost 20, which took almost 25 years. I was binge eating, and I also had bulimia, non-purging bulimia. And for me, binge eating was the biggest secret. So no one knew about what was happening. And outside, I was always smiling, always a perfect person, overachiever, happy, having a lot of friends, being really good at work, having extremely successful career. But the reality was that I just deep inside, I was feeling completely different. I was literally coming back home every day and just eating as much as I could because I was pushing down so many emotions, so many unmet expectations that I just didn't know how to cope with that different way. Back then, I didn't know that eating wasn't a problem. Eating was just a solution to what was laying underneath. And it was 4 years ago when I met a psychonutritionist who actually showed me that I never knew anything about losing weight or about dieting because I spent 25 years being on different diets, doing different types of fasting, which was more of a starving, more starving than fasting, to be honest, because the intention was always to punish myself, not to look after myself. And after trying all different approaches, losing weight and gaining weight, and then losing weight and gaining weight again, and fluctuating between 115 kilograms and 70 or 75 or 7 or 80 kilograms, sometimes within weeks or sometimes within months. I just discovered that, okay, if I really want to approach this this problem, this challenge of mine, I need to look at it from a different perspective. And this is where psychonutrition came into or appeared in the field of my awareness. And then I learned that, okay, psychology of losing weight is something what I really need to understand, because what's might be happening in your life, you might notice that there are periods of times when you gain weight and there are periods of times when you lose weight, or you might be just gaining weight gradually over a period of time. And we never look at it from the perspective of, okay, what is the connection between what my body looks like and what is happening in my life? Because I promise you that if you look at it from this perspective, there will always be a link between what is happening and how our body is reacting. When I was talking to Chantal, I mentioned the fight or flight, which is one of the states of our nervous system. So we basically have two main ones. One of them is rest and digest. This is the safety mode. This is where our body is feeling safe, our nervous system is feeling safe. And the other one is the one when we don't feel safe. This is the one which comes as fight or flight or freeze. And we need to remember that if we are constantly fighting with our body, if we keep fighting with the weight, there are different sayings in different languages, but normally we say that losing weight is a struggle, or it's a fight, or it's a battle. But the reality is that when we look at it from the subconscious mind perspective, if something is a fight, if you look at the world of animals, if there is a fight between two animals, which one is the one who's going to win the fight? The big one or the small one, the weak one? Of course, the big one is going to lose to win the fight. So this is what sometimes happens. If we have that belief in us that we need to fight with our body, that we need to really fight with those kilograms to lose them, then it's a little bit of a paradox, because we are trying really hard, but our body is constantly fighting and really wants to be big because the body wants to survive. That's the most important thing. So when it comes to what has been happening in my journey for the last 4 years, when I met the psychonutritionist and I started making massive changes, and it started with what Amber said a few minutes ago about wanting to learn to listen to her intuition. This is what happened within the first 2 weeks of my work with a psychonutritionist. I started asking myself a question when I was eating the most of the food. Do I really like this food, or do I think that I like it? Because we've been surrounded by the culture of dieting, and the reality is, and I will be telling about this in a minute, that diets really don't help us. It's not like we fail diets. It's more the other way around. Diets fail us. But because we've been surrounded by so much information, which not always is knowledge, sometimes we just don't know what is good. We don't know if we should be eating a lot of fat or we should be eating no fat. We don't know if we should be eating sugar or we shouldn't be eating sugar. If we should go keto or if we should go vegan or maybe vegetarian, which one is the best one? Because the reality is that there is so much confusion and everyone is completely different. But if we don't know what is happening and what is the best for our body, we just listen to things and we think that some of the solutions are working for us. So what I realized was the fact that, okay, I just believed in a lot of things, but none of those things were actually working for me. So long story short, after a few months, I completely fell in love with psychonutrition. I went back to uni. I got my graduation and got my qualification. And for the last over 2 years, I've been working with clients, helping them overcome emotional eating and basically be on the same path which I've been walking on for the last 3 years. And just to show you that it's definitely not something what I'm just saying that, okay, I was a little bit bigger and you know, I was struggling with my weight. I just wanted to show you a picture of how I looked before. So basically the picture on the left-hand side, this is me at 115 kilograms. So this is around 18 stones. That was me from the age of around 15, 16, no, I would say probably around 18 years old up to my early 30s. And then that weight was just going up and down, up and down. Those were my my heaviest moments. And then on the right-hand side, this is me from this year. So the reality is that I never actually followed any diet. Since I started doing this work, I never followed any diet because I realized that the moment you understand what is happening and you start addressing what is happening underneath, what emotions you are trying to eat, instead of understanding them, you just can't do anything with the weight because the body is just communicating with us. Sometimes it might be the case that we don't pay enough attention to ourselves. We always put someone else's needs or someone else's life in front of ours, and it happens to a lot of us because, you know, for anyone who might be a mom or a dad, of course kids are the most important. So it happens quite often that, you know, we forget about our things and then we just prioritize kids, or we prioritize our partners, or it might be happening to people we care about. But sometimes what our body does is literally it keeps growing and keeps growing and growing. Even if we are on diets, we don't eat enough, it just keeps growing. Because the reality is that one day you might be passing the mirror and all of a sudden you might just look at yourself and realize, what happened to me? It's like, why my size is so big? What is my body trying to tell me? And it's literally, this is how it works. And this is something what's happened to me. And this is also something what's happened to a number of my clients, that they might be looking at some pictures and all of a sudden, after years and years, they just realize, who is that person? What happened to me? Why am I looking like that now? And it's not about a judgment or about anything. It's literally like a wake-up call. Now it's time to start looking after ourselves. And trust me, I know that it might sound really simple, but trust me that sometimes just realizing that and starting working on providing for ourselves and listen to our needs, to what our body wants, that will help. That will really help. So when it comes to the three things which I wanted to talk about, which are the reasons for not even for binge eating, but emotional eating as well. Because the fact that we might binge eat or we might emotionally eat doesn't mean that we will be overweight. Because I have worked with a number of clients who are absolutely happy with their body and they are really fit, and they just know that they can't stop thinking about food, or the food is not doing too much of a good thing for them. They are eating healthy, but they know that the relationship with food is not very healthy. Also, I sometimes work with clients who come to me and they want to gain some weight because they try to eat healthy, they try to exercise, but for some reason it feels like their body is just locked and they can't gain weight. So we also work on that. But when it comes to the first reason why we might eat a lot of unhealthy food as well, or binge eat unhealthy foods as well, because we might binge eat healthy foods, is the fact that we are not eating enough. We are not eating enough nutrition in our diet. What I mean by that is the fact that so many people have been trying different diets, and there is a narrative saying, and there is a belief which is socially accepted, that if we want to lose weight, we need to eat less and move more. And okay, it makes sense. However, especially if we've been experimenting with a lot of diets throughout our life, we need to remember that our body's most important role is to survive. So if we have been eating not enough for months or years, and then we're not eating enough during the day, and maybe in the evening we're binging, or we've been eating not enough during the week, and then at the weekends we've been binging a lot. This is the signal which the body is giving to us that, okay, I need more regular nutrition, because if we are not giving our bodies nutrition with food, we will keep eating and eating and eating. So if we eat a lot of processed food, it might be the case that we just keep eating a lot, but our body is not getting too much of the nutrition. It's, as I said to Chantal in the beginning, it's we are not what we eat, we are what we can absorb. And we know that in processed food there are not too many values which can be, or ingredients which can be actually absorbed by our body. So that might be the reason why we just keep eating. And when it comes to binging, number one reason for binging is physical hunger. And this is something what people might not be saying, but the reality is that this is physical hunger. So the tip which I want to give you when it comes to eating, apart from the fact that from time to time it's good to check how many calories we should be eating. And I don't work on calories. I do believe that counting calories is something what actually puts us in emotional eating, in the situation of emotional eating. But it's good to know if we are actually eating enough, because a lot of my clients, they were getting stuck to the diets when they were eating 1,000 calories or 1,500 calories. And the fact was that they could never lose the weight because the body was in constant starvation. So it's almost like, imagine that you are not giving food to your body, and the brain is thinking, okay, I'm not getting enough, so I need to start keeping some reserves for the future. So every time when we binge eat, instead of processing that energy and absorbing that energy, it's just stored in our body as a fat tissue for the bad days, for the days when we starve ourselves again, because there is, again, difference between fasting and starving, even if it might look the same from the outside. So the tip number one would be to check if we are eating enough, and also to check if we are eating enough protein, because this is something what as society we don't eat enough, and proteins are really, really important. And I'm not talking about eating hundreds of grams of protein per day and build big muscles, because this is one of the myths as well. If someone ever tried to build muscles, you know that eating protein and exercising is not everything what will help you straight away. But the reality is that proteins, they actually serve a lot of different functions in our body, or they play a lot of different roles in our body. One of them is to keep us satisfied with food. So it helps with the levels of satiety, and it also keeps our hunger on a little bit lower level. And when we eat, the best thing is that when we eat protein, our body actually uses more energy to burn them. So we can not only stay satisfied and not hungry for longer, but we will also use some energy. We'll burn some calories when we eat. So that's definitely something what is the first thing. When it comes to the second thing, is the knowing the difference between emotional eating, emotional hunger, and physical hunger. Because sometimes we might not realize that what we are actually feeling is not physical hunger. It's not our body telling us that we are hungry. It's our mind telling us that we are hungry. And when it comes to those two situations, I just wanted to mention a few, so you can start observing what is actually happening. And first of all, the most important thing, which some of us really don't pay attention to, is the fact that sometimes when we are thirsty, we think that we are hungry. And our body just mixes those two feelings, those two sensations. So when you feel that, okay, I think I'm hungry, just try to drink some water. Not try, just drink some water, and then give yourself a few minutes. And I'm not talking about feeling actual hunger and then drinking water to just suppress the hunger. No, it's just to try and just keep in mind if you drink enough water, or it might be tea or it might be coffee, if you drink enough water during the day, because if you don't, then you might feel a little bit more hunger. It's important to remember that we also when we eat soups, or when we eat fruit, or when we eat vegetables, this is also something what helps our bodies to stay hydrated. So it's not only about drinking water. Just please be cautious when you drink any kind of juices or any kind of processed drinks, because there is a lot of sugar which is added to them. And the thing with sugar, the tricky thing with sugar is that when we eat a lot of products where there is a lot of added sugar, we will feel hungry very, very quick. And the best option to check it is have a breakfast where you eat a lot of sugar. So it might be some cornflakes, or any of the Cheerios, or any of the porridge where you buy it already prepared, so there is not too much nutrition, but there is a lot of actual sugar. And when you have breakfast like that, after 2 hours you feel hungry again. If you have scrambled eggs, or scrambled eggs with avocado, or you might have some sandwiches for breakfast. However, I know that in the UK having sandwiches for breakfast is not a very popular thing. But when you add a little bit more protein, and when you add healthy fats, you can see that you are stayed satisfied for longer. So that will also help to actually feel less of the emotional hunger and physical hunger. So this is the first thing. The other thing about emotional hunger versus physical hunger is the fact that any kind of food can satisfy physical hunger. Because when our body is hungry, it doesn't matter if we eat carrots, or a carrot, or if we eat a soup, or if we eat something which might be a cookie, then we will feel less hungry after a few bites of that, or after a few minutes when we eat it. When it comes to emotional hunger, we normally focus on specific things. And each one of you, when I say specific things, even if we don't struggle too much with emotional eating, each one of us would have that specific thing which you know that sometimes you will think about when you feel stressed, or when you feel sad, or when you feel uncomfortable. There will be one thing you want to eat. And it's literally about that specific thing. So if you have, let's go with chocolate, because chocolate is the popular one. If you know that you really want to eat chocolate, sometimes it doesn't matter if you have some healthy salads, and then you maybe have some fruit, and then you maybe have a sandwich, which will be very healthy as well, and then we maybe have another fruit, and then you have a cookie because you feel like having it, and then you end up eating that chocolate anyway. This is where the emotional hunger comes. That's why sometimes it's better to have a piece of chocolate just to calm that voice in our head, instead of eat 2 or 3 different meals, sometimes are equivalents of 2 different meals, and then have a chocolate at the end. Because the emotional hunger is really powerful. You will have lots of inner critic in your head telling you about how terrible it is that you've eaten what you've eaten. There will be a lot of shame attached to that. There will be a lot of guilt, and this is the next characteristics of emotional hunger. When you eat and you know that you might have eaten a little bit too much, you will feel shame and you will feel guilt pretty much straight away. When it comes to physical hunger, once you've eaten, you just feel satisfied, and that's it. You don't feel like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten this. You are just happy, or a little bit less happy, about the fact that you've eaten what you've eaten, and that's it. You don't think about it too much. So this is another really big difference between those two. And also, the last one which I wanted to share is about the urgency. Emotional hunger appears like that. It might be the fact that you've been just triggered by someone. It might be the fact that you've opened an email and all of a sudden you just feel that you need to eat that chocolate because otherwise you will just explode. You can't predict it. When it comes to physical hunger, it comes gradually. You know that on a scale from 1 to 10, when 1 is I'm not hungry at all, and 10 is like I'm starving, I'm absolutely starving, you know that with physical hunger, you will be able to place yourself on this one. When it comes to emotional, you might be at number 1, one moment, and then after 30 seconds, you might feel like you really need to eat that particular thing because otherwise you will just starve. But it will never happen, because emotional hunger is not about this. So this is the number two tip. Just start noticing that difference, and trust me that now, once you've heard that, and for those of you who are watching the recording, because you've heard that, your conscious and subconscious mind has that, both of them have that information now. And even if you don't notice this straight away, you will start noticing that you will start asking questions. And if you start asking yourself questions, that's absolutely fine, because every time when you raise awareness about emotional eating, it means that you are one step further to get there, to overcome it. And the last thing which I wanted to share with you is actual tool which you can use when you have those moments when you know that you just have to eat, and the urge for binge eating is really, really strong. This is the tool which I call 3D, and it comes from three words. The first one is delay, the second one is distract, and the last one is decide. So it's delay, decide, distract, decide. And the way this tool works, and please start using it even from later on or from tomorrow, when you know that you've got that urge to emotionally eat or to binge eat, you need to create a list of a few things which will be really engaging for you. And that is the list of things which completing of will take less than 60 minutes. So it might be reading if you love reading books, it might be reading a chapter of a book. Or some of you might have that drawer somewhere in your house or in your flat that you know that you really want to get it sorted and clean it, but you've been just postponing it. And you know that it's going to take probably around 30 minutes, but you just, this is always the last thing on your list. Or it might be going for a walk and listening to the podcast, any kind of those activities. When you feel that urge to eat, you take the alarm in your set the alarm on your phone or anywhere else for anything up to 25 minutes, and you just say to yourself, okay, it's going to be 20 minutes, and you start that activity which you've chosen from the list. And then what you need to do is put that alarm away and start doing whatever you are doing. When the alarm goes off, you need to ask yourself, okay, do I want to binge on whatever I was planning to binge? And then just give yourself an honest opinion, because our brain loves completing actions. So trust me that sometimes when you distract yourself with different thoughts, the urge to eat emotionally or to binge eat will go away, and you will literally say, yeah, I don't feel like eating anymore. I just want to complete whatever I'm doing now. Or you might actually already completed that thing, but you don't feel like eating. And what is a great thing in that tool is, if you ask yourself, okay, do I want to binge now? And the answer is yes, you go and you do whatever you were planning to do. But trust me that now it's no longer unconscious decision. It's not the impulse. It's not something what comes just from the urge or the trigger. Now this is the decision, because you've asked yourself first before you set the alarm, and now you're giving yourself permission. And when you give yourself permission to eat, this is something what will lower the urge of eating. And you might actually notice that you will be eating less, because the main rule when it comes to binge eating, we normally binge eat or overeat on things which we don't normally eat, or we don't allow ourselves to eat. And that's the power of it. So whatever you're avoiding, whatever you're putting on that list, which is forbidden forever, that would be quite often the food which you are eating. So yes, that 3D tool, which is delay, distract, decide, this is something what is really, really helpful. So I would definitely recommend to do this. I have one comment here on the chat, so let me just say, Małgorzata is saying, for me, the game changer was water. As Anna said, our body mixed emotional hunger with physical hunger. When I drink more water instead of food, then I started to eat less. Absolutely, yes. And I so agree with that. And for me, this one, so this is the tip number 2, and also the first one, when I started eating actually more than what I was doing before, my body started feeling safer. And it's like, okay, we are not starving ourselves anymore. Now we can actually start dropping the weight. So yes, thank you. Ines is asking, Anna, when I finish to stop smoking, I'd smoke a lot in one day. Yes, justifying that the next day. So do you mean that you smoked a lot and the next day you didn't? I would stop for good. Yeah, so just before you stopped smoking, you just smoked a lot. Is that what you mean? Do you want to?
Yes, can I ask
Yes,
a question?
please.
Thank you
Hello, great
so
to have you
much.
here, by
Thank
the
you
way.
for yeah, thank you for doing this. So I would be thinking, for example, I would be pregnant and I would say, okay, I'm going to stop smoking. And I would make like a decision, I am going to stop smoking. And sometimes I would even throw the tobacco away, or yeah, I would want to stop. And then what I would do is that, okay, I'm going to indulge on it on one more day. So on that day, I would smoke a lot, saying, tomorrow I will stop for good.
Yeah,
And I would be running this pattern of smoking an awful lot until I actually made the decision to stop smoking for good.
yeah,
And I am running the same pattern with food. So I'm saying, okay, I'm going to start juicing tomorrow, or I'm going yeah, I'm not so much into doing diets, but I'm going to start fasting and only going on liquids. And then, okay, because I'm starting tomorrow, then today I'm really binge, and my mind is
yeah.
justifying. So what is it really at play here? Because I
So
feel that I've done this with smoking and now I'm doing it with food.
yes, this is, and thank you very much for sharing. This is what you mentioned about eating a lot on one day, because from tomorrow everything is gonna change. This is called the Last Supper syndrome, and it's basically when we know that from tomorrow we won't be able to eat something, today we will eat everything. And this is connected to 100% or nothing approach. And this is something what when I work on my program Feed Your Body Not Your Mind, we take a little bit of time and we unpack it very gradually, because it basically means that there is black and white. There is no gray in between. We can be perfect or we can be terrible. And this is about learning how we can start accepting 80% of something or maybe 70% of something. And also, what really helps with this approach, and this is the approach which I take with my clients, there is no such a thing as forbidden stuff when it comes to eating, and especially when it comes to emotional eating and overcoming binge eating. If I tell you that from tomorrow you can't eat chocolate, I can guarantee you one thing: within the next week you will binge on chocolate. So the way when it comes to overcoming this particular pattern, we work on a lot of different with a lot of different tools, but it's literally having the exposure therapy and saying, all right, if I want to quit something, if I want to remove something from my diet, then first of all, I need to make a choice. Because if you feel that someone is forcing you to do it, you won't do it. The rebel will come in you, and you will just sabotage everything. You need to start making a choice. But also, what's even more important is just to give yourself that space and give yourself time, not saying that, okay, from tomorrow, I'm not going to have any of this, because if you've been doing this for 10 years or maybe 20 years, it's impossible to stop it from straight away. Because the thing is, and I'm talking about long-term solutions, because my approach is you can eat whatever you like, and trust me that that will be your decision, that you can eat whatever you like, and you will be making choices about how and how much, what and how much you want to eat. And this is something what with psychological tools is actually really easy to do, because I'm coming from that everything or nothing approach. I spent 25 years of my life doing that, and I probably had, I don't know, 350 last supper events in my life. because it was literally, I remember having a month when every day I was saying from tomorrow, it's going to be different. And every evening I was just binging a lot. So yeah, so this is where it's coming from. And this is something that requires time, but it's definitely something that is doable. So thank you. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I could be talking actually a lot about what I work on with my clients, but I think I will give you the best example if as someone who has been doing this work with me for some time now can actually share her journey. So I've got a special guest today, Gemini, who finished my program Feed Your Body, Not Your Mind, which I will tell you about a little bit at the end of the session. She has finished my program 3 months ago, and it's still doing the continuation program. So Gemini, hello, thank you for coming to the onto the call. And I would love for you just briefly share what was the reason why you joined the program in the first place. So what were the things you were dealing with? And what has changed? Because now we've been together almost 6 months, and I know that you had absolutely incredible transformation. So please just share with us the main three things when it comes to the first and the second question. Take it away.
Yeah. Okay. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm in a hotel room.
It's all good.
So why did I? So I honestly didn't think I had an issue with eating, but I knew on a personal level that I was a serial yo-yo dieter. So I was really good at dieting, like excellent at dieting. So I could do a program for 6 weeks and be absolutely wonderful, get some gains, be happy with the gains, and then it'll progressively get worse again. And then I'll have another, I don't know, 2021. I'll be like, yeah, we're on this plan and this is going to work. So for me, so I was totally aware that I was a serial yo-yo dieter, and I have been for today. And I was also aware that on occasions I ate emotionally. So, if there was something to celebrate, it would be about food. There'd be food. If I was sad, it would be about food. If it was bad news and I had a bad day at work, it was food. So I was kind of aware that I was eating not optimally, and I knew that there was some connection with my emotions or my feelings of, or my mind was quite sneaky. It would say, yeah, it's celebration time, let's go and have prosecco or whatever. So there was these kind of subtle messages that I felt that I had, but I did.
Oops.
Right, it wasn't an addiction to food or addiction to fasting or anything like that. There was none of that extreme. So I thought I'm absolutely fine. I just don't extreme behaviors. But so I joined because I just thought, oh, I just don't want to be dieting anymore. I don't want to play that yo-yo game anymore. So that was actually the reason why I joined. I didn't feel like I had an eating disorder, but I just had this, I don't know, sort of not a great connection with food. That was the reason why I joined. What was your second question, Anna? Because I could talk about this the whole day.
The second question was, so that was what was happening before. What has been happening throughout the program? So what are the results? Where are you now?
A lot has changed. A huge, like humongous amount of change, right? So I didn't join the program to have a drastic weight loss or anything. I just had absolute faith in the program. So I just thought, right, I'm just going to throw myself in the program, understand these tools, get rid of this yo-yo dieting mentality that I had. But in the 6 months, and I've been consistent over this period, I've lost 10 kg. And it was like shocking to lose over a period of time, sort of that level of weight, because weight loss was not something I was sitting there trying to, I didn't join this to diet. So that wasn't, it was a goal to get
side effect.
Yeah, it happened in a good, I live consciously when I'm eating now. So I'm very aware of what I'm doing, what I'm not doing, and why. And I'm very aware of my emotions that are linked in a positive thoughts, as opposed to, oh my God, I can't eat this. There's no food labeling of this food is bad, this food is good. And because I'm so aware of my emotions in connection to food, the cycle is broken. So I'm not, like, Christmas has just happened and I have had Prosecco. I have had, food that you would potentially say that wasn't the most nutritional food.
Yeah.
But I don't feel guilty. I don't have emotions attached to it. I'm not sitting there going the next day, well, I can't eat the whole day because I ate crazily today. So what has happened, I would say, and I was trying to put my finger on it, is that I now trust my body, and I understand consciously what's happening with my emotions. So mind is no longer able to play that game of, oh, right, okay, well, you're feeling sad, let's go to the fridge, or you're feeling happy, let's go to the fridge, or actually, I don't want to do that task, so let's go to the fridge. Like, I catch that all the time, and it's just broken. So what I do is conscious eating, and I have no guilt, no baggage, no dramas with it. And as a result, I'm eating nutritionally, I'm eating well, I'm enjoying my food, and the better I eat, the better I feel, and the better I feel, my emotions are not dragging me down. So life will still happen, but food is not the emotion anymore, which is really fascinating for me. So I'm not on a diet, I'm not eating restrictively, I'm not eating well or bad or good or indifferent. I'm not labeling anything anymore. I am just eating because I'm consciously aware that I want to eat right now, and this is what I want to eat.
And this is amazing. And this is the definition of freedom for me. And I think this is what you mentioned as well at some point. I didn't ask you that question actually before, but I know that was something what you sent to me. Do you mind if I just very quickly show the picture of your transformation? Yes.
Yeah.
So I will just for everyone, because Gemini said that she lost 10 kilograms. Some people might think like, whoa, this is so much. Some people might think it's like, okay, 10 kilograms. Okay, it's maybe not that much. But what's actually really important is the fact that you lost 2 sizes, and yes, and that's really, really incredible.
About 7% body fat.
And sorry?
7% body fat.
7% body fat. This is just amazing. So this is for everyone who's watching. This is the difference which 6 months made, or that was actually even less than 6 months, because that was beginning of November. So that was 5 months. It's a massive, absolutely incredible difference. And having this as a side effect of just making different choices, being aware of what you are doing, what you are eating, how you are feeling, and at the same time having much better sleep, much better mood, much better skin, much better body composition. It sounds like a dream, and it might sound a little bit impossible, but this is really what is happening. And that's why when I was talking just now to Ines, it's, in my opinion, and some people might not agree with me, in my opinion, it's not possible to live our life until the end of our days not eating something, because it feels like this is a little bit of limitation. But having that full freedom and making conscious choice that I can eat it, but I don't want to, this is completely different reality. Don't you agree?
Yeah, it is very, very liberating in some way. Like,
incredible.
Very,
thank you.
Make conscious.
Thank you.
For sure.
Thank you, Gemini, for sharing. Congratulations on your progress, because the thing is that program just gave some frames and just gave some work and tools, but everything what you've been achieving is definitely your work. So congratulations on that. And yeah, here's to another months and months which we will be spending together, because it's an incredible journey.
Thank you, and thanks, ladies. And if you ever have any questions, obviously just field them through Anna, but I'd be more than happy to answer anything that. Because the other thing, Anna, is it's a very gradual process. It's not you don't just click your fingers and something happens overnight.
Absolutely
works. So
yes, and this is something what actually just very quickly I can also share, because Gemini has been amazing when it comes to tracking the process. It's not something what is required by the program religiously. But it really does help. So just to show to everyone who might be thinking that within 2 weeks or 3 weeks we can lose a lot of weight, or shred a lot of weight, drop a lot of weight. This is what the process within 5 months looked like. And you remember in the beginning when I was saying that there is a correlation and there is a link between what is happening with our weight and where we are in our life. And it was so beautiful when Gemini was saying, okay, I can say that those moments when my weight was heavier, that was the time when I went for holiday, or that was the time when something stressful was happening in my life and I couldn't focus on myself. Or it might be the time when, you know, we are a little bit off track, but then we are going back. And this is just beautiful example of how the actual work looks like. So it's not happening as a single line. So yes, so thank you so much, Gemini, and yes, we'll see each other next week anyway.
Take care. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, so now I would love to just say a few things regarding the program, and I would love to take any questions. If you have any questions, please just write them on the chat or raise your virtual hands, or it can be the actual hands. I can see all of you, so it's all good. So just quickly, I will tell you a few things about Feed Your Body, Not Your Mind, which is my coaching program. This is 3 months coaching program. We see each other once a week on Zoom live coaching sessions. The next program will be starting on the 16th of January, and the sessions will be happening on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. If you can't join the sessions, then you don't need to worry about this, because all the sessions are recorded and you've got access to every single session throughout the 3 months of the program. What happens during the session? The program is designed to go deeper and deeper into the process of overcoming emotional eating. And I do have to say that normally the biggest changes are happening within the first few weeks. Even people who come to me saying, okay, it's not gonna work because I've been binge eating or emotionally eating for the last 20 or 30 or 40 years, trust me that it works for them. And it's incredible because the process is relatively slow, but it happens very quickly. Within 3 months, a lot of things are changing. It is a group coaching program, so the group coaching sessions are the ones which we do. There are also options on one-to-one. However, I have few clients who actually wanted to do one-to-one sessions, and then they've decided to join the program. And trust me that the results of them were just mind-blowing, because the power of collective consciousness is incredible. When we have one-to-one sessions, it's my perspective and your perspective. When it's a group session, you've got your perspective, you've got my perspective, and perspective of another 20 people or 30 people who are in a group. And it's really, really powerful, because this is where the healing is happening, especially because we do a lot of work on our subconscious mind. And subconscious mind is the one which we are not aware of, but this is the feeling one. This is the one which gets triggered. So what I'm doing on this call, and it will be happening for the next week, the cost of the program, which will be running from January, is £1,000 for 3 months. You can also pay it monthly. It will be £350 per month. But for anyone who signs up within the next week, so up to 4th of January, I will be having 2 special gifts for you. One of them is a one-to-one session with me before the program starts, so we can do a deep dive. And the other one will be an extra month of additional Q&A sessions, group Q&A sessions. This is the continuation program which Gemini is a part of. And this is just something incredible, because after you finish the main program, it's almost like finishing the university. And then you are like, okay, now I've got the tools. Now I want to dive deeper. So on that program, you can actually meet a lot of graduates of Feed Your Body, Not Your Mind. And this is incredible a group of individuals when we just every week go deeper and deeper and deeper in all the conversations. And you could see from Gemini what kind of results you get from there. So this is the special offer for everyone who's watching and who will be registering for the program within the next week. So by the end of Thursday, the 4th of January. And I will be contacting every one of you who is on the call today and also or tonight, and also everyone who is watching the recording, Because if you have any questions, I would love to answer those questions, and you can always send me an email, but I will be in touch, and then you will also get some other details from me. So my question for now is, does anyone have any questions? Any additional questions? Leslie, you asked the question about group coaching or one-to-one. So I answered this one. Anyone else? Or any observations? Chantal, amazing. Let's go with you.
Hey,
Hello.
question. So, you mentioned about the emotional and the physical eating. So hunger, sorry. So I often find myself like getting like you know how you mentioned like if it's physical hunger, it's gradual, and when it's emotional, just like peak straight away. I often find that like at certain times, so let's say like 1 o'clock lunchtime or 7 o'clock dinner time, I go from like no hunger at 6:59 to like actual starvation at like 7 p.m. Is that because my body's used to eating at those times, or is it an emotional element that I'm not seeing? Because I'm thinking like, because when you mentioned that, I was like, wait, hold on. I literally go from zero hunger to I need to eat right now, or I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like goes from 0 to 100.
Wow.
So I just wondered, like, yeah, it's an emotional thing I'm just not seeing. Because I thought I didn't have an emotional eating problem, but now I've heard that, I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, this is amazing. Thank you. This is a great question. Thank you for sharing that. I will ask you one question before I answer.
Yeah.
Is that 7 o'clock? Is that the hour which you were always eating dinners when you were smaller? Or is it some...
It used to be between 6 to 7 around that area, around that time, and now I've made my dinner time 7 and my lunchtime 1.
Okay, amazing. So that will be a little bit of a mixture, because your body got used to the fact that, okay, at that time you are feeding your body, so it is a physical hunger. However, the fact that it appears like that, it's driven by the narratives which you have from your past. So it might be the fact, and sometimes it might be literally the episode which happened 1 or 3 times or 5 times in your life, but subconsciously your mind is just linking 7 o'clock to that feeling of safety, that feeling of connection. And then, because you might not always have it, because we live in different times, different lives, sometimes we might be really busy, but the mind is so used to the habit that 7 o'clock means connection. 7 o'clock means that love as well, because when we eat, we feel safety within ourselves as well. So it's the trigger. So in your case, when it comes to habit, we've got cue, we've got behavior, and we've got reward. In your case, the cue is the time. And then the habit is, okay, 7 o'clock, I eat. What is the reward? I feel better. I feel safe. I feel nourished. And this is how the habit goes. So what we do on the program, we identify what is happening. In your case, we've already identified, and we just break that pattern to give you a little bit of freedom. And then if you want to eat around 6, then you can eat 6. If it's 8, you can make that choice, or it can be different time on a different day, but you will know that, all right, now I want to make that, not my body and my mind is making it's making me make that decision, if it makes sense.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks so much. Thank you. Okay, and Ines, yes, I will take a question from you as well, please. You just need to unmute yourself, please.
Okay, thank you. That was really interesting. What's the answer to Chantal? Because I do, like with a toddler, I try to do routines for him to eat, and there are the routines of the school. So, and then you made me think about my childhood, where there was a routine also that 8 p.m. was dinner, but it was a routine of being forced to eat. And then because around lunchtime I had no surveillance, I used to skip it lots of times. This made me equally think of another pattern. There is this Last Supper syndrome that you spoke about. Another pattern, it was that temporary food addiction. So you said, okay, when you feel sad, there is this go-to, this chocolate thing or whatever. what I've experienced since childhood is that I go to a certain food. So I get addicted to, one time can be bread with blue cheese, another time can be spaghetti with prawns, or another time is a particular type of chocolate.
Yeah.
So I have these periods where I have a certain food addiction, and then I'm eating a particular thing every single day.
Yes. I definitely know what you're
one
talking.
day it is because it's rotten, or until I get sick of it.
Yes, and this is a great question, and this is actually a great example of one client who she will be finishing the current program within the next 2 weeks, and she came to me with exactly the same problem. She said, I don't binge eat too much, but I have my fixations on particular foods. It can be one day, it can be chocolate muffins, or I might be eating them for a week. Then it will be sausage rolls, and I will be just binging on sausage rolls. And then it will be peanut butter, and then it will be chocolate. And she came and she was really confused about what is happening. Why can I not just binge on one thing? And we got to the bottom, and it's all emotional based. So it's when we get in a program, in the middle of the program, we take really, really big dive into emotions, and connection between anger and emotional eating, binge eating, is massive. And we talk about it throughout the program. We started since the beginning. And when we get to recognize the different emotions, and when we find that connection between, especially anger, I'm not saying that it might be anger, but we all have anger suppressed in ourselves. And then because we want to feel better, we just fixate ourselves on specific foods. And it takes a little bit of time, but to give you an example with her, and she was actually amazed because she couldn't pinpoint the time when it actually happened. But it was within the first 6 weeks. She noticed after 6 weeks that I have no idea what happened, but I stopped binging on those random things. And she couldn't say exactly what's happened, but the reality is that with all the tools which we've been practicing, she gained so much awareness that she was not only able to catch herself when she was eating those things, but she was able to catch herself before the decision was made. So this is what the program brings. So what we bring here, it's interrupting the habit, because this is just a habit. It might sound like it's quite hard to explain, but this is the habit. And when I say just, I don't mean to make it really small, because this is something what is really overwriting everything else, overwriting other habits in our head or other thoughts. But this is something what can be definitely taken to lower levels with that work. So yes, so this is definitely something that can be addressed.
My understanding is that the program is going to bring a lot of unconscious patterns of emotions that reflect themselves on our eating habits. And the program works on bringing our emotional relationship to food, to the conscious mind. So we are actually making conscious decisions rather than letting our unconscious patterns. But to what extent is the program going to address? Because, for example, I know that social addictive behaviors, and it can be food, but it could also be sex, or could be
it can be shopping, it can be gambling,
drugs,
it can be anything.
shopping,
Yes,
gambling,
absolutely.
Whatever, is because there is an underneath suffering that is getting an outlet.
Yeah.
And sometimes what could happen, it was that it could be in smoking, and then you stop smoking and you do it with food, or you stop
because
food,
basically,
and then the underlying root issue.
Yes. So what we are doing.
My question is, sorry, I know you want to. My question is, to what extent? I understand the program brings the unconscious to the conscious. To what extent are these underlying sufferings addressed in the program?
So the thing is that the awareness of what is happening underneath, we will be mostly focusing on the relationship with particular a problem from the past and how it's reflected with eating. But trust me that a lot of relationships in our life will be sorted as well. Because when it comes to eating, there is a big correlation between, or a big link between our relationship with our mothers and how we relate to food. Because this is the first contact when we get food. It comes from normally our mothers, or it might be from the people who are taking care of us, and then it brings that safety. It brings that love, that care, and everything else. But when we start diving deeper into that, it's absolutely safe work, by the way, because the environment is really safe. Every single person is dealing with something similar. The support which you are getting from the group, from myself and from the group, and the understanding of different levels of what you are going through is really making this process as painless as possible. Because it's just observing from the outside. It's that I haven't had any cases, and I've worked with a big number of clients, and I haven't had any cases where something was really painful and they couldn't get through that thing. Sometimes it might be the case. If there is something what cannot be resolved, then I will tell you. But when it comes to the relationship with eating, most of the issues are resolved. And trust me that even with the clients with a lot of work done on trauma and a lot of work done on doing the therapies as well, when they came doing that work with eating, because what we do on the program, we keep focusing on eating, and then you practice it every day because you eat at least twice a day. So you practice this, and that's the reason why subconscious changes in subconscious mind are happening so fast. Because the subconscious one is the one which drives the behaviors, is the feeling one. So sometimes you might not even notice why you are dropping something, but you just drop it, and you can't help it. The moment you drop it with food, you won't move it to a different area. And this is something what some of the clients were saying, that it's incredible, because I have one client who's been trying to deal with eating for the last 40 years. She dealt with drinking, with smoking, with any other addiction, and eating, she couldn't deal with that. And she actually managed to do it. And we've known each other for over 8 months now, and she just sorted that. And it's like, wow, okay, now I can understand it. So this is what is happening. So thank you very much for your question. And yeah, if you have any more questions, we will be in touch. So I will be answering. And I hope to see you on the program, because we've had conversation before, and I know that it will do wonders for you. So yeah, thanks so much. Okay,
Thank you so
wonderful.
much.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone who's been watching. We went a little bit over time, but it was really, really incredible question. So I would love to thank you for your time. If you have any additional questions, I will be in touch so you can answer those questions. Because we are finishing the year in the next 3 days, have the most incredible rest of the year, and Happy New Year to all of you. And I really look forward to seeing you on the other side, because you will see that with Feed Your Body, Not Your Mind, you will be able to finally sort those problems which you thought that you would never be able to sort. So take care now, and I will see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.